Marcosatsu.
Let's flash it back to 2009. The weirdest season of Kamen Rider just ended on a cliffhanger and was taking a court over it. You can only go up from there, so it was time for a new era of Kamen Riders, starting with Kamen Rider Double, a show about two detectives who become one masked warrior to solve cases related to USB drive-like devices that turns people into monsters. This show became popular among tokusatsu fans, and even brought in tons of newcomers due to its approachable episodic story, cool designs, and a great cast of characters. It really was the beginning of the next chapter in this franchise, as it solidified several ideas for the modern day. While gimmicks and certain story elements have been seen in earlier shows, Double created a new formula that would be kept even to the Reiwa era. As you can easily see, but in case you need more, I do have an hour-long video about it, Double was extremely important to the franchise for both old and new fans. However, all things come to an end, and Kamen Rider Double finished its 49-episode run on August 29, 2010. Although the story had reached a somewhat conclusive ending, it still left fans wanting more. Here I say fans since I personally felt satisfied enough and was okay with saying goodbye to our cast. The extra content with movies and specials were good too, but again, I never felt like the season really needed a continuation, even if it's iconic and timeless. Outside of numerous cameos in the future, was this really the end of the line for our two heroes? Flash forward to 2017. A sequel manga adaptation was released in Shogakukan's weekly Big Comic Spirits magazine, and fans of the show loved it. Written by Riku Sanjo and illustrated by Masaki Sato, the manga continues right after we last saw our heroes, continue to solve cases when Shotaro stumbles across a mysterious woman named Tokime. From then, the heroes' battles would start up once again. The sequel could be compared to similar reboots like Amazon's due to its violence, nudity, and content that was mostly aimed at adults who watched Double as kids. That contributed to its rising success, not only releasing in Japan, but in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Indonesia, and France. I personally enjoyed it myself, at least with what was available. Fan translations did exist for a while, but stopped after a certain number of chapters for one reason or another, and it would have been really nice to get an official release of it. Still, I like the art, and the Monster of the Week formula worked well enough in the manga style. It was like our heroes never left, for better and for worse. But the manga was so successful that it had the community talking about wanting an anime adaptation. And in 2020, during the 50th anniversary press conference, the chief producer of Kamen Rider Double, Hideaki Tsukuda, announced that Fuuto PI would be getting an anime adaptation. And the biggest announcement yet, it would be the first Kamen Rider production to be simulcasted to the West, or at least in America, thanks to Crunchyroll. This was huge news. Not only is Kamen Rider getting an anime adaptation, but this was going to be a big introduction to Japanese Kamen Rider. A lot of expectations and questions were riding on this one until its eventual release on July 31st, 2022. So with season 1 completed, what do I think of the show?
Video has reached completion. See.
Okay. I think Fuuto PI is fine. The translation from live action to anime is great, the story is great, the characters are great, and are voiced by the Memory of Heroes actors, which I love and is great, but I'm just not that crazy about the show because I'm just not that into anime. The medium kind of never really resonated with me, and this show sadly doesn't really poke me into wanting more. Yes, I did make a video about how I was getting more into anime, but that was more so the appreciation I had for the shows I did watch, rather than going out of my way to get into the medium like I do with tokusatsu. As a more personal thing, if a certain IP happens to have an anime, then I'm more inclined to watch. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, even JoJo's Bizarre Adventure are more than just the anime. And unless they quote-unquote happen to have anime, then I'm happy enough to just play the card games or read the manga. However, what's great about Fuuto PI does stand out. The translation from live action to animation is great. The fight scenes are well drawn. The characters still have their amazing personalities from their shows. And the new ones are super cool too. This wasn't just a half-boiled attempt of animating Kamen Rider. You can clearly see the love and care the show has for its source material, especially in all of the transformation scenes, the fight scenes, and even the music. I still think the live action show is better in my opinion, though this doesn't mean that Fuuto PI wouldn't entice anime watchers who are fans of the source materials, or newcomers. If you love the anime and you're excited for the sequel of one of the best Kamen Rider seasons, I can see how Fuuto PI can do a lot for you. Even if you were a newcomer to Kamen Rider, while some parts might come by a little too fast and confusing, it could still be an interesting watch. And that's pretty much all I can say about that. I did have one friend who watched Fuuto PI and he wasn't a fan of Kamen Rider at all, like he didn't even watch a single episode. And he personally told me that he wasn't a fan of it, so mileage may vary on non-Kamen Rider fans, I guess. Okay, anyway, the show definitely focuses more on its detective case-solving portion, rather than fights, unlike its original counterpart. But when those fight scenes come in, they go hard. You'd probably expect me to go more in depth, but this isn't nearly 50 episodes like the original, and it's mostly episodic, so maybe I wouldn't just want to give it all away, especially when it's available more easily than before. Wait, that's a huge elephant in the room. Why isn't the original double available officially? Yeah, you can watch 2 episodes of it on Toei Tokusatsu World, but that's not the whole show, let alone all the extras. Ichigo, Kuga, Ryuki, and 01 are available for streaming and on Blu-ray. Why not double? I didn't mean to stray on this for long, but it's just weird, you know? As for weird, my only gripe I have for Fuuto PI, outside of not having the original double for streaming, is the pacing. As much as I love the live action show, its pacing wasn't all that great for me either, and Fuuto PI kind of has a similar issue. But again, I'm chalking that down to the show being episodic. Oh, were you expect me to talk about the fan service? Well, even with the few anime I have watched, fan service doesn't really bother me, so, ooh. My final thoughts for now. If animated fight scenes, hardball detectives, and karate bugmen interest you even a little bit, I would definitely recommend this a watch. Personally though, I'm a one and done. What I did watch was really enjoyable. Am I clamoring for more? Sure, why not? But I'm still very, very happy that this show exists.
Video has reached completion. See you next time.